brothers and sisters. Can you hear me at the back? I am Yves Tolan, and this is my orgy, my beautiful wife, Carol. We've been married for 15 years now, and we have been blessed with two beautiful children, namely Sam, who is 7 years old, and Caleb, who is 3 years old. We joined Couples for Christ in 2002, and we had the opportunity to experience different types of service within the community. Currently, we serve as one of the Kids for Christ coordinators in the Greater Toronto area. Our sharing today is about how God transformed our hearts to have the desire to serve our less fortunate brothers and sisters in Christ, mainly by supporting the work of Angkong. I would like to highlight the word transformation because our involvement in the work for the poor was not something that happened overnight. When we joined the CFC community, our focus was on our own spiritual growth. We actively served in the Christian Life program, and when we were asked to serve as household leaders, we readily said yes. We really enjoyed this service because we found ourselves growing in our faith together with our members. So after serving as household leaders for a number of years, we were called to serve as coordinators for Angkong. We accepted the service because we wanted to serve in a different capacity. And we saw this as an opportunity to change our service. But to be honest with you, brothers and sisters, our heart was not really there. We were not even supporting any work of Angkong prior to being called to serve in Angkong. But of course, being coordinator, we have to set a good example. So we decided to sponsor one child. It was probably not the right reason, but that is how we started our child sponsorship. At that time, we felt that was enough.
But God has even better plan for us. As Yves mentioned, our journey towards helping the poor did not happen overnight. I would personally say that it started first with God transforming our hearts. We can probably donate, give, or even serve, but if we are doing that purely for service and not because of our love for God, then it will not be meaningful, and it will not even translate to real joy. Our transformation happened in 2010 when we attended the teaching night at St. Pascal Bailon. The topic for that evening was first fruits, firstborn, and tithes. It was at that time when we both felt God was speaking to us. That was the day our hearts were transformed and our desire to give generously started. We decided to increase our contribution to 10% of our income for God's work. And our hearts were slowly transformed as we found true joy in giving.
During that same time, Carol and I discussed about sponsoring another child. And on that same week that Carol and I talked about it, an interesting thing happened. While attending a teaching, I happened to sit behind Sister Malu Galito, who at that time was handling the child sponsorship program. And before I even had the chance to ask about child sponsorship, Sister Malu asked me if I would like to sponsor a child. I knew at that time that it was God telling me to give, and I immediately said yes. We started with one child, and we are now sponsoring a total of 6 children on a regular basis. And on occasions, we still try to sponsor additional children for a period of time. Aside from the child sponsorship program, we also started to contribute to the shelter program of Hong.
Helping the poor, from my perspective, is not just about giving money, but also giving your time. With 2 children and a busy work schedule, we decided to hire a nanny to help us at home. She is a single mom, and she and her daughter stay with us during weekdays. Her daughter is the same age as our daughter, and they go to the same school. She's been working for us for more than 2 years now. Early this year, our nanny was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. When we received the news, without thinking twice, we offered to help, to take care of her daughter particularly while she undergoes treatment for 6 months. She stayed in her apartment while her daughter stayed with us during school days. It was a big adjustment for us. In addition to not having a nanny, we even have additional child to take care of. We had to live, it was a big, in addition not having a nanny, we have additional child to take care of. It was a total change in our schedule and routine. We had to leave early from work to pick up the girls from school. We had to wake up early now, earlier than normal. We have to prepare breakfast, which we were not normally doing it. And then now we even have to work after all the kids are sleeping. We still have to do our work. We also need to find time to bring them to their activities and continue to work when they were already asleep. It became more difficult when Eve had to travel to work and be away for days. Luckily, my father-in-law was staying with us and was helping us prepare the meals. My boss was also supportive and allowed me to work from home for an indefinite period of time. We were hoping things would improve as we adjust to the new schedule. But instead of getting better, it got worse. 3 months after our nanny was diagnosed with breast cancer, we received the news that my father-in-law has a stage 4 lung cancer. We have to juggle our time taking care of 3 children and my father-in-law, who stayed in the hospital for 2 weeks. It was a period of trial, but we continued to trust in God, knowing that He will take care of all our needs. Amidst these challenges, we found ourselves praising God and thanking Him during our prayer time for challenges, struggles, and pains. Yes, we thank God for the pain because Mother Teresa said, "Give, but give until it hurts." We are also thankful to God for giving us the opportunity to help others and for the joy we received in return. Just before the summer break, we offered to enroll our nanny's daughter to a summer camp for a month of July to allow her to rest from chemo treatments before she starts her radiation treatment. We believe that this was God's prompting to us because He sees the bigger picture. And true enough, without realizing it, Caleb's daycare will be closed for 2 weeks in July, and our nanny offered to take care of Caleb during those 2 weeks, since her daughter is staying with us anyway. We are just amazed on how God worked in this situation.
As for my father, he was a widower for 10 years since my mom died of cancer in 2003. So he decided to remarry around 2 years ago. He was able to sponsor his new wife, and she arrived a month after my father was diagnosed with lung cancer. The timing worked well. We also received news that the medicine that he is taking is working, so he does not have to undergo any other type of cancer treatment. We also shared in the past that ever since we started contributing 10% of our income for God's work, we received many uncommon blessings in our life. For one, Carol got promoted a month after we started contribution. Then during that time, we also received we had our second child, Caleb. We also had the opportunity to sell our house within 2 days, having multiple offers and more than the asking price. And furthermore, I received a job offer for a sales position that almost doubled my salary without really actively looking for a new job. And these are just to name a few. At this point, I would just to briefly call my daughter and son. My daughter would like to say something.
Over the past years, my parents have been taking good care of me, and this is how it all began. First, my birth mom gave birth to me. Second, my birth mom gave me to my foster mom to take care of me. Third, the best parents came to adopt me. Now that I am 7 years old, I am old enough to take care of my parents the way they have been taking care of me.
So we can use the brothers and sisters with the many children that God has given us through our child sponsorship program. We are also blessed with these two beautiful children and lovable children, even if they are not our own. But you know, that's it.
May God be praised.